Good morning. Good morning to each of you. I am Dr. Corrine Johnson, and I would like to welcome each of you on this morning to plug into the power of prayer. We are so grateful and thankful to God this morning for allowing us to make it through another week. And so I know that a lot of you all are up this morning saying, thank God that it is Friday. And so we just thank God for another day. We honor him on this morning for his grace, for his mercy. We just thank God for all the many things that he is doing in our lives. And I want to encourage you this morning to know that whatever you may be going through right now, that I want to encourage you to know that it is all working together for your good. You know, a lot of times we experience, different things, and we think that because we may be going through certain things that God is not good. But I want to let you know that in the midst of whatever you're going through, our God is still good, and he's going to cause that thing that you're going through to work together for your good. So keep pressing, keep moving, and know that we serve a God that is behind the scenes, and he's working to cause it to all come together. And so on this morning, as we continue on in our series this morning, we've been doing a series entitled Living in Financial Freedom. Living in Financial Freedom. This is something that the Lord laid on my heart to do going into this new year, because many a times we go into the new year and, at the end of December, we make all of these New Year's resolutions, and, we hold on to it for about 2 or 3 days. And then we're back into the same old mode, doing the same old habits that we were doing. But I want to position you throughout this series to make sure that you are listening and paying attention to the revelation that God is giving us throughout this series, so that we can go into the new year in a better place when it comes down to our finances. Because when we are struggling, when it comes down to our finances, it affects so many different areas of our life, not just our wallets or our bank accounts, but it affects our health. Because once again, we lay up and we worry and we have anxiety about, can we pay this? Are we going to be able to pay that? And it causes us to worry. It causes us to have anxiety and even depression. So not only does financial stress affect our bank accounts and our wallets, but it affects our health. It affects our relationships with other people. And so, as we go through this series, don't just come on and listen, but I want you to even go back and re-listen again and take notes, write it down, so that when we cross over into 2023, we'll have all of the information and the wisdom that we need to make better choices when it comes down to living in financial freedom. And so on yesterday morning, for those of you that were not here, I'm not going to do a brief recap, but I'm just going to encourage you to go back and listen to the video from yesterday and tie it in to this morning. But we were talking about the snowball method for eliminating debt. And on this morning, we're going to be talking about the Avalanche debt elimination strategy. So, for those of you that desire to know what the snowball method is, go back and listen to the word from yesterday morning once again, so you can tie it in to what we're talking about this morning. And so, it's kind of similar to the snowball strategy, but the avalanche strategy requires you to list all of your debts that you have, despite the nature of their amount. Because remember, the snowball amount was you were to list all of your debts and start, knocking out the smallest debt that you have. But when it comes down to the avalanche strategy, you're going to be paying off these debts according to the one that has the highest interest rate. And so once again, the avalanche, it requires you to list all of your debts, despite the nature or the amount. You should list the debts in order, though, by the highest interest rate. Where the debt with the highest interest rate charges, you want to list that first. And then you want to follow it by the second highest interest rate, and so on and so on. And so with this strategy, what this does is it causes you to get rid of the high interest loans that you have first. Whatever the money that you borrow, whether it's a car payment, whether, it's a auto loan, whatever it is, with the avalanche debt elimination strategy, you're getting rid of high interest rate loans first, ensuring that you pay less interest over time. That's the purpose of the avalanche debt elimination strategy. It keeps you from paying way less interest over time. And so you are required to dedicate as much money as possible each month towards paying off the highest interest loan. And once you pay it off, use that money to start knocking out the next highest interest rate bill that you have, or loan. And so you're going to continue to do this method until all the loans are paid off. Each time you pay off a loan, you free up extra money that you can dedicate towards paying the next debt in the specified order that you have written it down. So similar to an avalanche, the difference between the snowball method and the avalanche method is the snowball method is going to cause the debt to go away a little bit, quicker. You're going to see tangible results pretty quickly. But you're going to find out that even as you're using the avalanche, it takes a little bit longer, but at the end, you're going to save money because you're paying off that high interest loans that you have first. And so therefore, over time, even though the avalanche debt elimination strategy takes a little bit longer, it's going to save you some money because once again, you are taking care of those high interest rate debts first. And so over time, you're going to be able to save some money as well. And so when we think about the avalanche debt elimination strategy, how it works is, let's say that you have a credit card loan that's $3,000 with a 20% interest rate. And then you got an auto loan for $10,000 with a 5% interest rate. And then you have a student loan for $15,000 with a 4% interest rate. So you want to make sure that while you're doing the avalanche debt elimination strategy, that you always pay the required monthly repayments for each loan on time. And then you want to use any extra money to pay off the loan with the highest interest rate. And so in this case, the credit card loan had a 20% interest rate, while the auto loan had a 5% and the student loan had a 4%. So you want to make sure that you start tackling that credit card loan first because it has the highest interest rate. And once again, it's going to save you money over time. And so once you have paid off the credit card loan, you want to redirect the money that you were using to pay it off towards payment of the next high interest loan. And in this case, that would be the student loan, right? That would be the student loan. So you want to do the same thing for the auto loan. Once you have paid off the credit card, once you've paid off the auto loan, you want to start the student loan. You want to start tackling the auto loan and making sure that you're clearing out all of your debts. And so once again, the Avalanche debt elimination strategy not only helps you get out of debt, a little bit, it's not as fast as the snowball, but it ensures that you pay less interest. So once again, it's going to save you money over time. The Avalanche strategy is highly recommended for debt elimination, especially for us that are struggling to make payments. And so it makes a lot of sense to pay off the high interest loan debts first as a way of saving money in the long term. And so the only drawback to this is, once again, it takes a little bit longer to see tangible results, unlike when you're applying the snowball strategy. So the next strategy this morning for eliminating debts is that we want to use some form of debt consolidation. Debt consolidation, because sometimes we're so overwhelmed with the bills and the loans and the credit cards that we don't even have any slack to even take any money and pay towards the snowball method or the avalanche debt elimination strategy. So the next strategy for eliminating debt would be debt consolidation. And it's also referred to as credit consolidation or bill consolidation. And it is a great solution for people who are overwhelmed by multiple bank loans and credit cards, and they just really can't even see their way out. This is the best strategy for eliminating debt when it comes down to someone that you just really, even after you've cut out some stuff, and you're down to the bare minimum and you still can't see your way to be able to do the snowball method or the avalanche method, the next thing that I can point you to is the debt consolidation. Because this strategy entails you're going to merge all of your debts into a single debt, which can then be paid off through a management program or a loan. But it reduces monthly payments and interest rates to cut your pending debt costs. So, as such, it can be an effective solution for offsetting high interest debt. So debt consolidation untangles, the mess that a lot of us face each month, as we're trying to keep up with multiple credit card payments and loan payment deadlines. And so upon consolidation, you are required to make one monthly payment. So debt consolidation is ideal if it's going to lower the monthly payments and the overall interest rate, especially for unsecured debt like credit cards. So if you are considering debt consolidation, you want to add up all your monthly payments and then determine the average interest you pay for them. And this is going to provide you with a baseline comparison. And so the next step is evaluating your monthly budget to determine how much you can afford to dedicate towards loan repayment without putting yourself in a strain. And so debt consolidation using a loan, bank, or a credit union loans are the conventional debt consolidation method. And so if you decide to take out a debt consolidation loan, you must approach your bank, your credit union, or whoever, it's advisable to be very careful when working with, nonprofit debt consolidation companies, because a lot of times there are extra fees that they may not disclose to you up front. So in some cases, such hidden fees make the loan more expensive than the cost of your consolidated debt. So you want to make sure that, before approaching your bank for a consolidation loan, make sure you know the exact amount that you're going to need to offset all of the pending debt that you already have. And so request your loan and negotiate for the lowest interest rate possible. And so in most cases, the consolidation loan repayment period ranges between 3 to 5 years, but it is the interest that is a key element in determining, the loan amount and the duration. And 3 to 5 years is not really a long time, especially if at the end of those 5 years, it's going to put you in a position to where you're debt free and you don't have to worry about all of this debt that you've incurred, right? So consolidated loans are fixed interest loans with fixed monthly payments. So you don't have to worry about the payment going up. You ain't got to worry about, it's a fixed rate monthly payment. The interest rate you are charged, though, this is where, it matters about your credit rating, because the interest rate that they're going to give you depends on your current credit rating. So if you've already been falling behind on your credit card payments, it's highly likely that your consolidation loan provider will offer a slightly higher interest rate because you're already behind. But note, if the debt consolidation loan interest rate you are offered is not lower than the average interest rate of your outstanding debt, then it's not even worth doing. So in that event, it would be advisable to seek alternative loans like a personal loan or a home equity loan. So, however, neither would be of help if the offered interest rate is still higher or the repayment period is longer. So it is important to understand that consolidation loans do not eliminate debt. Instead, they restructure multiple debts into a single loan with more favorable terms that you can pay with ease. It helps you to make sure that you're not struggling every month to pay 5 or 6 different loans. But once again, it's structured to where you take all of your multiple debts, put them together, and with favorable terms, and you pay every month without having to strain. So if your credit is not favorable, sometimes you won't qualify for, a debt consolidation loan. So if that's the case, you may have to go through a debt consolidation management program. And a debt management program is for people who do not have the strong credit that they need to have in order to be able to get a debt consolidation loan. So, credit counseling agencies offer nonprofit debt consolidation options that do not require you to take out a loan. Instead, they work with your credit card companies or your financial institution, whoever you owe, to lower your monthly payment and interest rate to a more affordable rate based on your income level. So what they do is they negotiate with your creditors to waive the limit and the late charges. And once you reach an agreement with the credit counseling agency, you are required to send a predetermined amount of money every month to them. And the agency actually distributes the agreed upon payment amounts to your creditors. And so, conversely, debt management programs take about 3 to 5 years to eliminate your debt based on your outstanding balance. But should you default on your monthly payments, the credit counseling agency can revoke any, negotiations that they've made with the companies that you owe. So when you're doing the debt consolidation instead of the loan, you got to make sure that you pay those payments on time, because if you miss any monthly payment, they can revoke any concessions that they have offered on your monthly payments and your interest rate. And so on this morning, I wanted to give you 2 more ways that you can eliminate your debts on this morning, so you can come out of the hole that many of us are in and begin to work towards financial freedom. work towards financial freedom. And before we get ready to get off of here this morning, I want to encourage you. And I know that many of you are not going to want to hear what I'm getting ready to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. And I can say it because I've been in a position to where I know that I had bills to pay as a single parent. About maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I was a single parent. And so, I know what it feels like to be in over your head. And then when Christmas time rolls around, even though I'm already drowning with debt, I, I would go and take out another loan to buy Christmas gifts. And I want to encourage you all that's listening to me this morning. And I know somebody is telling me, she don't tell me not to buy no Christmas gifts and what to do for my family. Well, I'm telling you, if you want to be debt free and you want to come out from up under the strain of debt and worry and anxiety and depression that's attached to it, if you are overextended with your bills, you do not even need to be in a mall. We don't even need to be shopping for Christmas gifts. You need to sit down if you got children or whoever and tell them, listen, I'm trying to get us to a place to where we get out of debt. You gotta talk. You gotta bring it when you're coming out of debt. All of the family got to get on board. If you got children, the spouses, everybody got to be on one accord. You got to get on board. So if you know that you have not planned all year, for an example, what my mom used to do, I live in Bainbridge, Georgia, and the banks here have what they call a Christmas club. And so all year long, every 2 weeks, my mom would put so much money into that Christmas club so that when Christmas came around, that she already had the money that she needed to go and buy whatever she was going to buy with the budget that she had. My mom never was borrowing money for Christmas as, a lot of times I did as a single parent. Already was drowning in debt and then would go and take on more debt. And by the time the next Christmas came around, about around October, I was just paying off the debt from the last Christmas and then did it all over again. It was a cycle. It became a cycle because it becomes a way of a mindset for us. But I want to encourage you this morning that if you know you're already drowning in debt and you're struggling, don't go out and try to buy Christmas gifts. Don't do it. I celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, but I don't buy Christmas gifts anymore. I do. My husband and I, we do not buy Christmas gifts at all. Our children know it. Our grandchildren know it. We do not buy Christmas gifts. We do what we can do all year long, but we do not buy Christmas gifts because there's no need in going out and getting all this stuff. The children don't even play with it. They don't even play with it. They're excited about it for 2 or 3 days, and then it's in the corner the next day, and you don't win and pay $1,000 for a scooter, and they ain't even riding it no more. So I just want to encourage you, if you're already in debt and cannot see your way out, do not go out and get in debt for one day. Buying Christmas gifts and going into debt for one day does not say to your family that I love you, because it's piling up more debt when we should be positioning ourselves to leave generational wealth for our children and grandchildren and great grandchildren. We're leaving a legacy of generational debt that the Lord wants us to come out of. He wants us to come out of it. So once again, don't be ashamed, to go and say, hey, I can't buy Christmas gifts this year. I can't do it because I'm trying to come out of debt. I'm trying to do something different. I'm trying to position myself, to be debt free. So if you ain't got it, you just do not have it. And it's okay. It's okay if you don't have it. You don't have anybody to impress. I hope not anyway. We want to impress God with being a good steward over what he has given us. Yes, I seen somebody put on here, we have had to wait until income tax. I've been there too. Lakia, I know exactly what you're talking about. You know, we go pay up, charge up all this stuff. And then when we get our income tax, instead of being able to put it in the savings account, you got to take your income tax money and try to, pay for Christmas stuff that you don't went and charged up. I've been there too, sis. I know what you're talking about. But we don't want to be in a position. We want to be in a position to where we can get extra money like our income tax and put it in the savings account and not sitting there waiting on income tax to say, oh, when that income tax come, I'll be able to get out of this jam. No, when the income tax come, we ought to be able to position ourselves to say that's going into the savings account. Or if it's not going into a savings account, I'm gonna use the snowball method and I'm gonna knock out some of my debts and I'm not gonna get back into it. When income tax time come, it shouldn't be a time to where we say, phew, I'm so glad it finally got here, so I can pay off Christmas. No, we got to shift what we're doing. We got to shift our mindset away from doing things, because it becomes a cycle. And the cycle does not lead us to a place of freedom. It keeps leading us to a place of bondage that God is trying to pull us out of. And so on this morning, living in financial freedom. And in order to live in financial freedom, that might mean this year that, it may not be any Christmas gifts. And I want to let you know that that's okay, because you're shifting out of a mindset that says that I got to go out and spend all this money. On Black Friday, it was talking about the trillions of dollars. I'm talking about Black Friday that just passed. Well, I saw on the news where it was talking about, how much money people went out and spent for Black Friday. For Black Friday, the only Black Friday, that's gonna offer me some savings is the one that's coming up to Easter, where Jesus died on the cross, and I got some eternal savings. That's the only Black Friday that I'm participating with, and I'm not judging, because back in the day, I used to be lined up at Walmart too at 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, waiting to bust in the door to get everything that I could get until the Lord shifted me. Thank God for my husband that, the Lord allowed me to marry somebody that was full of financial wisdom, that taught me how to do things differently. And so the only Black Friday that I'm going to participate in is the Friday before Easter. And that's the one where I'm going to be praising God for the eternal savings of salvation that he did for me on the cross. But other than that, you will not catch me at Black Friday trying to spend up money for Christmas. Not if I'm in debt, and I'm not in debt, and I'm not going to do it because I'm trying to stay out. I don't want to be back in it. I'm trying to stay out. And so that's what God is saying. We got to shift some things that we're doing. We got to shift it so we can come out. So we can come out of it. And I saw somebody else post in the comments that said, a lot of people take their income tax, and go, oh, yes, Lord, we'll take the income tax and we'll go and buy a car. We won't pay for it. Instead of getting a used car, you all into my message for next week, a woman of God. We won't get a used car to where we can pay $3,000 or $4,000 for. We'll go and put $1,500, $2,000 down on a car, and no, we can't afford the rest of the payment. And then they come and repo it, and then we've still lost money. But we're gonna talk about that on next week, woman of God. But yes, that's true as well. And it's a mindset that we have got to break. It's a mindset that we got to break. So on this morning, I want to thank you all for joining in with me on this morning. And it is my prayer that this series has been a blessing to your life. And I pray that you will take the information, the wisdom, the revelation, and begin to apply it to your life so that you can come out of the place of financial bondage and live a life in financial victory. So God bless each of you on this morning. Thank you all so much for tuning in and joining with me. And I want you to go forth on today as you go throughout your day and pray, because I have gone over the time limit this morning. I want to get off of here so you all can continue to get dressed and get to work. And so I don't want to go into 10 more minutes of prayer. So I'm going to charge you on today to begin to, when we get off of here, to pray, to spend some time in prayer and listen to God and write down what the Holy Spirit reveals to you as well as to what you need to do to be able to live in financial freedom. So God bless each of you on today. Like, tag, and share the video with some people that you know that need to come up out of debt and live in financial victory. God bless you. Go forth on today and have a blessed day.